Jacob deGrom became the best pitcher in the world with the New York Mets. I'm wondering what kind of reception he will get.
The hottest team in baseball is taking its show on the road. That's the Texas Rangers, who have a pretty difficult road trip in front of them. It's the New York Mets, who are a pretty good team at home, and the hated Houston Astros. The very first game, though, as we welcome you into the DLLS Sports Studios, John Radigan and Jeff Wilson from the DLLS Rangers podcast, the Queen Cat, taking care of us over there, too. But the very first game, Jeff, features a homecoming like few others, right? I mean, there's many homecomings in these games because there are free agency and trades and all that stuff. But Jacob deGrom, who came here in 2023, is going back to New York, where he started his career. And while the team has played there, he was on the injured list. Right. So it's his first trip back there as a visiting player.
Yeah, it's you're right. Guys come back all the time. I mean, Hobie Milner just faced the Brewers.
Right.
I mean, he didn't go back to Milwaukee, but you get my point. But Hobie Milner, who's putting together a nice year, does not have 2 Cy Youngs. He did not help pitch his team to a World Series that like deGrom did. Jacob deGrom became the best pitcher in the world with the New York Mets. He put together sparkling seasons. Those seasons have him now in a very unique question about whether he should be in the Hall of Fame or not. That's how good Jacob deGrom is. So the greats don't get to go home a lot. So I'm wondering what kind of reception he will get. It's probably going to be good initially.
Sure.
I think when the game starts, they'll be, oh, Jacob deGrom, nice applause. Maybe do a tribute video, and maybe try to get him emotional. I don't know. But as the game goes on and as he's striking out hitters and not giving up hits, I think the cheers are going to turn to boos. And if he turns in 7 really solid innings and is walking off the field, he will do so to a chorus of boos.
No doubt.
But we talked to him Wednesday before the finale against the Brewers, and he seemed kind of, I don't know if he maybe he didn't want to talk about it. Maybe he knew he had to talk about it, but he kind of, I don't want to say sheepish, but kind of grinned through it and was like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And it's going to be alumni weekend, so I'm going to see a lot of former teammates and all that stuff. I played a lot against a lot of these guys, but I still am not sure that he knows what the feeling's going to be until it actually happens.
Yeah, because he hasn't done it, right? He's never done this before. He did run through the list, though, of names of guys that are still on the team who were there when he left, and the Pete Alonsos of the world and the Francisco Lindors and others. So he is very, very well aware that he's facing a bunch of former teammates. Ironically, when he talked about that Old Timers weekend, he did say that some of the guys he's coming up with will be a part of Old Timers weekend. So that's pretty good that Jacob's still going, and he's really not that old. It does speak to the shelf life of most baseball players, right?
Yeah,
you don't get to play for 11 or 12 or 10 or, he's just over 10, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He is. And, he's 37, turned 37 not that long ago. So he is a little bit on the older side, but, with the injuries and the time he's missed, it's still a kind of a young arm. And I think he's showing that this year. I think he's showing that there's still some juice in that thing. And, the start on Friday will be his 28th start of the season.
Wow.
Which is remarkable. And he said it at FanFest. And I told him this yesterday. I said, at FanFest, you said you were going to make 30 starts. And we all thought you were crazy.
And he said, well, I guess I'm crazy.
He said, call me crazy.
Yeah.
And but the innings, they've managed to keep those in check at 155 and 2/3. So even if he gets to 30, which he may get to 31.
Sure.
It's going to be around 175.
Not bad.
And that's kind of the number that a couple guys had said to me during spring training, a couple of former players, not coaches and front office guys, Colby Lewis and Michael Young. I'll name names. They were saying 170, 175 is a good number for him. And by gosh, they're going to hit it. And you kind of think, well, is he showing some signs of fatigue? And you can kind of look at the home runs and be like, yeah, maybe he is. But in his last 4 starts, he has a 2.21 ERA.
Right.
It hasn't been bad. Now, the weird thing is that the Rangers haven't been winning a lot of his starts.
Yeah.
So that is unusual. But like AL, he's second in WHIP. opponent batting average, third. Opponent OPS, third. ERA, fourth. Innings, pitches per inning, fourth, which is a key number.
It is.
It's a very key number.
Yep.
Walks per 9 innings, fourth. Strikeouts per to walk ratio, fifth.
Is that just out of curiosity, is that in baseball or
it's
in
the American League?
Okay.
It's just really how tells you how good he's been. And when he doesn't pitch well, he's still pitching really well.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And you have such high standards for him. The bar that he set for himself is so high. Even some of the really good outings he had in sort of the middle part of the season, you're like, I want that Jacob deGrom back. So then when he gives up 2 home runs, as he did in his last start, you're kind of like, oh, shoot, he gave up 2 runs.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, and so, he's going to pitch the opener. Then you're going to get Patrick Corbin. You're going to get Jacob Latz for the Rangers. And Corbin has been very, very good at home. Hasn't been as good on the road, but neither have the Rangers.
Right.
But he seems to have a knack for the big game too.
He does.
Patrick Corbin. And he's faced this Mets lineup and these hitters a lot in his career. Pitching for the Nationals. I think you can look at his last 2 or 3 starts as being better because he's kind of changed up his pitch mix. Jacob Latz has been fantastic, all season, but especially filling in for Eovaldi. He's made 3 starts and allowed 3 runs.
It's amazing.
That tells you how good Jacob Latz is and can be. And now to see him in a this is a playoff push. Maybe the pressure will ratchet up. It didn't look like it the other day though. No. I'll tell you that much. So I think they're in pretty good shape going into this series. Obviously, they've won a bunch of games in a row, but to be where they are pitching wise, to have this life, this energy, some kids who kind of are like don't know any better. Yeah. They don't know what they're getting into. Yeah. See if it can keep going. I think it can.
They don't know what they don't know, and that's fine, right? That's a good thing right now. Bruce Bochy was asked about Jacob Latz, and he never seems to really want to commit to Jacob being a part of naming him as a part of the rotation. Yeah. But I think the fact that they were ready to let Tyler Mahle come back after 2 rehab starts, and then they decided, we need to get him a little more stretched out. That says everything you need to know about what they think about Jacob Latz, right? Because Mahle would have been a candidate to be in, start one of the games in New York.
I agree. I think that the outing against the Brewers really showed a lot and gave the Rangers the confidence. Not that they needed it. I mean, just look at the body of work. This guy's been a solid contributor this year, and I think, and I said it on Twitter, and I don't care, he should be in the rotation next year.
Yeah,
100%. The Rangers, they're looking for starters, and maybe they sign a veteran. Kumar Rocker's not a sure thing. I would take Jacob Latz right now over Kumar Rocker as we know him right now. We don't know anything about him.
No.
So I think Latz has put himself in a wonderful position for not only the rest of the season, but for the offseason and spring training in 2026.
Yeah, and so then after the Mets series, they go to Houston. Jeff will be there Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, so we'll have lots of live coverage from there. But that rotation for the Rangers sets up pretty well, too. It'll be Leiter, Kelly, and deGrom.
Yeah.
I'll be darned. And that is, as we've talked about, Mike Maddox knew that was going to be the way it was for sure at the All-Star break.
Yeah.
And maybe before.
Yeah, this guy maps things out and has a plan. And you want to ask people why the Rangers are having such a great season this year on the pitching side. Mike Maddox is one of the first 3 answers every time.
Yep. No doubt about it. It's been a fantastic run for the pitchers and a fantastic run lately for the guys that the guys in the broadcast crew have taken to calling the Little Rascals. So, they're headed to New York, and they say if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. So let's see how they do. We'll be here for a post-game edition of the DLLS Rangers podcast on Sunday after the finale in New York against the Mets. And thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you every day this week at 1 o'clock on the DLLS Rangers podcast.